Jay?
Jay Hart, Yahoo Sports. Just sort of to kind of piggyback in on the questions about Hendrick. How are things different this year at Hendrick, if at all? And has your relationship with Jeff changed, now that he's in the garage with you, sharing a garage with him?
Well, we're just getting started, so I could answer that question better 6-8 races down the line. I think you should ask me that again. So far, it hasn't changed. Jeff has been very, very good to me and very respectful, and seems to be genuinely excited about everything, the way it's set up now. And, we will work slightly closer together than we did before, but mostly the difference will be that the 5-team group and the 24-team group will work closer together than they did because they're in, so that's really where the difference will be. It was more in the shop, in the, in the manufacturing of the car, the body, the cars, the bodies, and those kind of things. They'll work a little closer together, where before it was the 5 and the 88. Now it's the 5 and the 24. So that's where you really see it. Jeff and I have a great relationship, and, we may do work slightly closer together, but it won't be dramatic because we worked fairly closely together anyway. It will mostly be in the shop.
This young lady over here, Mark, to your left, and then we'll come back to Jeff Gluck.
Genesis Short, skirtsandscuffs.com. My question today is, what are your thoughts on the upcoming repave of the track here at Phoenix?
Well, I'm really excited about it on one hand. On the other hand, I think it's great now. So, but, anything new is exciting. And we'll have to wait and see. Their plans are to make it even better. So I think we'll find out here in several months just how it turns out. But it's exciting. It's a change.
Jeff Gluck from SBNation.com. Mark, I'm not totally clear on what happened at the end of the 500. You and Tony hooked up, I believe, and then you fell back, or did somebody break up your draft that you weren't able to maintain your momentum?
We broke apart. We were a little slow getting attached. It took a little longer. We had a little bump. It was bumping him forward. And while we were trying to do that, Kurt got in between us, and that still wasn't death to our challenge. But as we started to exit turn 2, for reasons that we can't determine right now, those things break apart when other cars are around, and we broke apart. And Tony didn't immediately know it. And so by the time he realized it, we were far enough apart that it's too late now. Our chance was over. So it was just a matter of circumstance. It's racing, man. We can't control all that stuff. I thought we had a excellent shot at it, but as it turned out, we didn't get the run that we hoped that we would, and the wind from the other cars broke us apart, and wouldn't have been any big deal if we'd had 5 laps. But, we only had a lap and a half left, and we were broke well apart, 4 or 5 car lengths, 6 car lengths. And, at that time, then Bill Elliott picked me up, and so I couldn't pick Tony up. I had to go with what I had going, It's just what happened.
Tom.
Mark, Tom Jensen from Speed again. In the late 1990s, the 6 and the 24 were probably the two most bitter rivals in NASCAR, or two of the most bitter. Is it hard to become friends and teammates with a guy after you were butting heads that much a decade earlier?
I think that Jack and Ray Everham were more butting than Jeff and Mark. Jeff and Mark were pretty much competitors, and we were, heated competitors, but we never had an issue, one. So the issues more came from, inside the teams. It wasn't Jeff and I never had a problem. Have never had a problem on the racetrack. So, no, not. First of all, before that and after that, Jeff and I really respect one another and kind of like each other too. But really, respect overrides it all. And between really respecting each other and kind of liking each other, you know, that kind of takes care of all that. You'll have your day. You know, you'll have your scrapes and stuff, but no problems.
Any questions downstairs from Mark Martin?
No questions downstairs.
Any more up here from Mark Martin? Mulhern rises to the occasion.
How many guys on your radio? I mean, obviously radio communications at Daytona were pretty important. A lot of guys came in here and said they'd hear strange voices and people asking for help. How many radio channels did you have, and how many strange calls did you get from guys wanting?
I had AJ and my teammates, my three teammates and AJ. And AJ had mine, and I know Tony had mine. And I don't know who else. I'm sure Jimmy had mine because he talked to me in practice once. I never talked to one of my teammates all day. I was on AJ's channel a good bit. AJ and I talked some, but we let AJ. I was on his radio, so AJ spotted us both. In the race where Tony and I ran together, Tony got on my radio, and my spotter spotted us both. So that's how that worked. That's what we did. Hopefully this week everybody cleans the radios up, you know. And I don't think that's going to be. I don't think it's necessary going forward. I'm not sure it'd be a good thing to be able to talk to a competitor of mine. You know, I think I'd be better off keeping that to myself or sharing it with my spotter and my crew chief.
One more, Lee Spencer.
You know, it's funny that you say that because your generation just seems to be so much different when it comes to palling around with other competitors compared to the latest generation. I mean, Burton once said that he doesn't understand the new generation, how they all hang out, because how can you hang out and be buddies and then battle against each other on Sunday? Was it just Daytona that created that, or do you ever anticipate we see more of that in the future?
I don't foresee hanging out with AJ. I don't foresee going out to dinner with him. But I do like AJ, and I'm a big fan of AJ's. And AJ's the guy that I wanted to run with in the 500 because I knew that he would be loyal to me. And I knew that I could count on him. And that meant a lot to me. And I also knew from experience on the racetrack that our cars worked well together. But I would have run with somebody I didn't like if it made me run better. So I'm not sure how to answer your question. I don't think you have to be buddies to talk. You have to be in a position to help one another. And then if you are for the day, you're buddies. You make the best of whatever, whatever the situation is.
Is it better to maintain that killer mentality on the racetrack, though, where you may have associates or, people off the track that, just that you're not buddy-buddy with because, you kind of cross that line and you have to flip that switch off on Sunday? It's
hard for me to say for sure. I only can tell you what, I'm very good friends with Jeff Burton, and I'm really good friends with Matt Kenseth. But I have a high level of respect for a bunch of people that I'm not friends with. I don't consider them my friends, but I respect them, and respect overrides all. I mean, I treat people, the pecking order of respect is how I treat people. And by the way, my friends are at the top of that respect list. There's some that I'm not friends with that are right up there beside them, probably tied with them, but, and I treat people with the degree of respect that I have for them, not so much is this my hanging out buddy or not. I've only got a small handful of hanging out buddies, and I don't know what the recipe for success is. Hate them all, friends with them all. I don't know I can't tell you what the recipe is. It can be different for different people. But respect has always been king in my world.
Thank you, Mark. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.